Alrighty. Let's see if we're working. Okay, we look like we're working to me. So what are we up to today? Sad that you can see I've not made any progress on my Gene Stealers. That's because I've been up to other bits and bobs for the hobby. But we'll finish them up soon. I got all of the regular troops done. Or the, like, Hive Scum guys. I got all them done, which is pretty sweet. So, anyway, what are we doing today? Today, we're painting some Human Defense Force from one-page rules. And we're going to paint some Van Saar from that necromunda box I got. So, I don't super know my plan for the Van Saar, so we're going to kind of wing that one. And this guy's going to be our test model. This like radio dude here. One thing that I did do for the Van Saar, I thought they just needed more gear. So I printed them out some like pouches and stuff with my 3D printer. So the pouches are from Mr. Modulark. And then I scaled them down 60, 70%, something like that. And they work pretty good for the Van Saar as like big ammo pouches and stuff. So, but I don't super know what I'm going to do with that, with Van Saar guy yet. So we're going to kind of wing that. But these Human Defense Force models came out as part of One Page's rules. One Page rules Patreon this month, and they're awesome. They're super cool. They are pretty much just like a mix between like Earth Defense Force, Halo, ODST Troopers, and oh, what is the name of the other one that just came out? Kill something. No, it's not Kill something. It's the one where you defend democracy. Why am I blanking on the name right now? Helldivers 2. Helldivers 2. They're like a neat mix of those three. And they have dogs. So they got this cool doggo here. He's going to get all painted up. Can't wait to paint him. But I got some that I went ahead and primed. So we're going to work on these guys today. And my plan for these is to paint them up like the grineer from Warframe. So I'm playing a lot of Warframe lately, having a lot of fun with it. And my idea for these guys is they're going to kind of be black clothes, two-tone blue kind of camouflage armor, and then some brown equipment. And pretty much what that's going to, the goal for that is this. So this is the goal. These are sort of the Space Marine adjacent kind of crazy cloned former miners that have they exist in this weird world between, like, if you were to put them in Warhammer terms, they exist between orcs and Space Marines. So they're all clones and their bodies are like falling apart and deteriorating for every group that gets made. But they're also like Marines, like troopers, like just pure soldiers. But all their equipment's, it's not hodgepodge, but it's very clearly like not okay either. Like some of it just doesn't make sense. It's probably because some of it's actually like housing internal organs and stuff for them. Because they're all like falling apart. Like half these guys don't even have real legs. They have like robot legs, and they're pretty awesome. I like the Grineer a lot. They're a really cool design. So what we're going to try to do today is we're going to try to paint some up, or get about as close as we can. So yep. So that's my goal for today with these Human Defense Force guys. So what I did was I primed them black, and then I've hit some of their armor with Abyssal Blue. Another war paints color. These guys are going to be almost entirely war paints, to be honest. Just because I really freaking like these paints. Like I think they have 100% Dethroned Pro Acryl is my favorite paint. But they're really nice. It's kind of like a dark kind of turquoise blue. I think it's a very nice color for the... I actually need to turn my other light on. It's a little dark in here today. I think it's a really close, nice color for the grineer. So my goal is just to kind of hit some of their armor. And I started working on these last night at midnight, so I'm just going to go back in and touch it up. So they're going to get this blue armor here. That's going to be all over anywhere they have armor. And then they're going to get some brown equipment. So like their gloves, the pouches, probably their backpacks, that kind of stuff. That stuff's going to get browned. All the cloth underneath is going to stay black. And then their visors, I think I'm actually going to do them in like a shiny white. I think that'll look pretty cool. But so yeah, so they should just be a couple of steps. Because after that, my plan is to hit them with washes and then do the lines, or maybe I'll do the lines and then hit them with washes. I don't know. But my goal for today is to get one of these guys done. So while they're waiting, at some point we'll work on the Vansar guy. And I'm gonna be super honest, my plan for them is to do like German Splinter Tarn camo on them. That's my plan for them. Because they're in like power armor, like entirely. Like you could probably paint some of the spaces between it, but even then it just looks like power armor. It doesn't look like they're wearing armor over like a suit or anything. So my plan is to just essentially do them entirely in the camo. Or some variant of it. But we'll see. We'll see how it comes around. We'll see how it looks. And go from there. That's all we can do. So they're going to be a little bit of a experimentation kind of paint job, to be honest. More than anything else. So you can see last night at midnight when I was painting these, I decided to paint all this back area here blue because I didn't realize that was supposed to be cloth. But we'll fix it. We'll fix it. We'll fix it. But yeah, been playing a lot of Warframe, super enjoying it. God, it's such a good game. Every time I play it, I always find something new. Like my husband was playing the music Warframe today, and holy shit, it's got like an entire thing where you like make songs and then you play along to the beat. Like it's crazy, the stuff that's in that game. Like just the different features and ideas. And I know it's a 10-year-old game, but you know, so it should have a lot of stuff in it, but it has so much more stuff than so many like AAA titles. It's insane. Like, it legitimately shames other games with how much stuff is in it. Like, other companies should look at that and be like, oh, you know, we have quadrupled the budget and we are not getting anywhere near to that level of content. You know, it legitimately should shame other game companies. There we go. All right, beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Slowly blocking in our blue. What we'll do is we'll probably block in the brown and then let him sit a little bit, because I think we'll probably try to get one of these guys done today. Like, at least all the way through watches. That's my plan. So. There we go. But yeah, this pack this month is fantastic. Because the other side of this, you get their Dark Elf equivalent, which are like these crazy monster dudes. Hello! Howdy, howdy. Yeah, so you get these guys as the like sci-fi version, and then you get the like crazy Dark Elf monsters. And really, legitimately, you could use the Dark Elf monsters in sci-fi or regular there, because they're just like crazy shadow creatures. Like you could 100% use them anywhere. All right, this is Tree Ancient. I like this. It's a nice dark kind of brown. It's super nice. All right, my goal for this is this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to come in. I'm going to block out some of this stuff I think should be brown. So like, we're going to do the boots. We're going to do his gloves and his belt and his pouches. Now, really the grineer don't have this much brown on them, but I think it will help make the model look more painted is the wrong term. It'll help make the model look more detailed if we pull out some of these colors. Because otherwise, like, we're just going to have large sections of black that kind of run into each other, and then sections of camouflage. And while that looks okay at a game, because there's a lot of like there's a lot going on, I guess, like in Warframe, like you're running and jumping and shooting and using abilities, and you know, so you're not sitting there like staring at the grineer the way you will stare at you know, your models on the table. So because of that, I think they'll end up looking a lot cooler on the table if we pull in some other colors into them besides just the black. Because really the grineer have like a black and a gray kind of mix, and then they have bits and bobs picked out in brown. But I think if we do a little bit more brown, they'll look better on the table. So we're going to do all his belts and stuff in brown. Also because the design of this model is just also not as complicated as the grineer. Like the grineer are visually like very busy, right? With the design, the way their design of their armor works and everything, they're very, very visually busy. Like in a good way, like they're interesting looking, but it means that they probably shouldn't have as crazy different colored like color schemes as what we want on our simpler models. Man, I keep punching the camera today with my glasses. Either means I'm off the middle, which I'm not. Or we can zoom in a little. There we go. There we go, there we go. Or, yeah, just being clumsy. So right now on this one's Patreon, you get these guys. You get these like generic trooper guys, and they have a whole bunch of different weapons. There's a sniper, there's a medic, there's a guy with a big flag like in Helldivers. There's oh, what are they called? There's like a radio operator. Do I want to do the black backpack in brown? No, I think that's too much brown. You know, I might not even... No, we'll do the gloves. So we have some... God, I keep punching the damn camera. We'll do the gloves in brown so we have some brown that's like further up on the body. And then there's a couple different kinds of bosses even. So you have a boss for the unit who has a couple different weapon options. And then there is like a standalone like big boss who has like a big cape and stuff. And then you have another like mid-grade boss And then on top of that, also this month, you get heavy weapons teams. And there's like a auto gun where one guy has like the ammo. There's a rocket launcher. There's a mortar. There's a different kind of big auto machine gun. The one auto gun is like 100% just from Helldivers. It's that gun that you pull down in the beginning that has the like 2-man team where one fires and one reloads. It is 100% just that gun, which is pretty dope because that's a really cool gun. Another one's like it looks like a heavy bolter. Oh, forgot to paint an elbow pad on this guy. Let's fix that. There we go. All right. Yeah, we'll do this guy next. But yeah, so you get all of that as part of the Patreon, and then you get also the evil witch guys. The like dark elf guys. Who aren't really dark elves, they're like much more like monster, night stalker kind of creature things. But in my brain, they kind of are taking the same place as like a dark elf. You know, that like evil kind of shadow kind of creature thing. They're very much that aesthetic. And they're really cool. They have a ton of cool options, like different monsters and stuff. Like if you were to print them out and paint them all up white, like they're like maggots or something, you'd have a really cool looking army. Especially if you did all their clothes really dark black and they were like just this crazy contrast. Ooh, or maybe like a really dark blue would be really cool. And you'd wind up with these really cool like maggot monster people. Be really neat. So yeah, they're really cool models. So really good month for one-page rules. Not that other months are bad months, because one-page rules is fucking killing it, but I mean, I've been legitimately subscribed to them on Patreon for years now. And they're like the only people that I haven't stopped subscribing to at some point on Patreon. Just because every month is some kind of banger. You know, even if it's something I don't want today, it'll probably be something I want tomorrow. Like, it's pretty crazy. Now, the Grineer have a couple different weapon color schemes that they use, but they're usually gunmetal mixed with either orange or green. So my plan was to do these guys' guns in green because I think it'll look cool. And like I know they picked the orange because it's a really nice contrast color, but I also just think it looks really strange as a gun color. It's really weird to me. So we're not going to do the orange, we're going to do the green. So do like the Gorgon versus the Krikata. That's the plan for today. All right, boots for the last guy. But yeah, they're really fun. So I've played Human Defense Force and one-page rules a couple of times using guys I printed out from Red Makers who look like the what are they called? The like Imperial Navy guys from Warhammer. I don't remember what they're called, but they are like kind of like pressure suits that look kind of archaic, and you know, they got a lot of like exposed mechanics and stuff. Like if you saw them in like a cyberpunk movie, you would be like, oh yeah, that's those guys. You know, they would fit right in, kind of thing. I played it before with them because I have a little team of them that I've built using some stuff from Red Makers and then some of the robots from Station Forge. Station Forge did this really nice set of like Mechanicum drones. I've used them before, and they're really good. However, this time I also want these guys to have a robot. So I'm actually making one out of the modular robot set from Modular Robots 2 from Adamant Arsenal. Adamant Arsenal's done some amazingly cool stuff before. But a while ago they had I think it was a Kickstarter for Modular Robots 2, and it was obviously a follow-on to Modular Robots 1, but it was like really chunky kind of military looking robots. Really cool stuff. So actually I have some of it out back curing right now in the sun, and I have some of it actually already cured that I'll show you guys in a sec, because I want to give folks a warning if they're going to do the same thing. Not because there's like a real big problem, but just because there is a problem and I want to mention it. So this is the Era torso, or ER something like that torso, for the modular mech set. And there's all kinds of cool stuff for this. So like you got a machete. I mean, look at this freaking cool ass submachine gun. This is freaking cool shit. All kinds of different heads, right? So like some are very armored core, some are very virtual on Mars. That's Super Robocop. That's very armored core again, right? Awesome kits. You get tons of crazy options and bits and bobs, all kinds of awesome stuff. This is a hollowed torso. The holes that they put in it so that you can cure it are tiny and very, very small and very like centered on this back area here. So what I ended up having to do is I ended up having to drill a hole in the front so I could cure the inside of this thing. And then I tried to drill a hole in the back and it broke. So I could cure it again. So basically I did this and then took my UV light and did that for a couple of minutes, just so I could cure the inside. So if you print this torso out, be aware of that you're going to want to hollow parts of it, because there's not enough bits hollowed for this to cure properly. And if you don't cure it properly, it's going to explode. So yeah, so be aware of that. So I'm gonna have to patch all these holes that I had to put in the damn thing, but it's a very cool Kickstarter. Just be aware of the torsos, or if you really want to, just print the torsos out in solid resin. It'll be heavy, but it will be better than it exploding on you. So just a thought. All right, our boys are curing. Let's go ahead and let's paint some of their guns. And then we'll let them sit, touch them up, give them washes, stuff like that. Okay, so my plan here is to just do basically the entire gun, and then we're going to come back and pick out pieces in gunmetal. That's my plan. Alright, so we'll like come back and do like the magazine in gunmetal and stuff like that. So we're going to have to come back and we're going to have to clean up a couple of the colors before he gets washes. So, you know, we'll actually try doing some of the stripes before washes, because I don't think the wash will decolor the stripe that bad. But you know what, we can test it. We can test it and see. So we also do have to do the visor and the helmet still too. Boop boop. Boop 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 boop. Boop 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 boop. So these guys do come in pre-made pieces. or you can print them out modular like I did, where they come without the heads on them. So you have those options for whichever one you want to do. I like the modular ones because then I could put everybody in a helmet, because I liked the idea that these guys were kind of like they had the helmets. The boss I have printing right now isn't wearing a helmet, but I think it's a good way to differentiate the boss from other people. And yeah, and we'll work on our Van Sar guy, and I'm actually going to talk a little bit about terrain after I get all this green on. We're actually going to take a little look at some terrain real quick. So I want to talk about my Necromunda terrain project that I'm working on. Because I have my whole set of Necromunda terrain painted and everything, and I want to share what I'm doing with it because I think it's pretty cool. And I think people will generally be interested in hearing about it. So, all right, one more gun. But yeah. $10 out of 10 for this month's Patreon for these guys. And because they're so these guys are pretty small. They're like they exist between, say, something like War Games Atlantic, or North Star military figures, and like traditional guardsmen. They're like somewhere in the middle as far as height goes. And honestly, I think they would work pretty well with either. So I think they are the actual, like, you know, actually in that 28mm range, whereas a lot of stuff nowadays is actually just bigger. Whereas the War Games Atlantic stuff is and the North Star military figures are all kind of smaller, you know. So, all right. There we go. Cool. All right, we'll let them sit for a minute, and we'll talk about terrain. Oh, I'm going to take my ring off. Okay. I have been 3D printing these plates that are 6x6. And the idea is that you put two of them next to each other, and it produces a 12-inch plate. So you put 4x4 to make a 1 foot plate, 1 foot by 1 foot plate. And my idea is that I am going to glue down the walls and stuff, because right now all my Necromunda terrain kind of just lives in a bag, right? And I don't like that. I don't want it to get scuffed up. I want it to be nice. So I'm going to fix all the walls onto these plates, and then what I'm going to be able to do is swap the plates in and out as I want different layouts. So essentially I will have a table of 16 plates that I can position, which is a whole lot easier to do than put down, walls and stuff like that. And it'll also keep the walls from sliding around and stuff. So that's my plan. These plates came from Frontier also has wall sections and pillar sections and everything. But this came from a Frontier on my mini factory called what the fuck is it called? It's like the laboratory of Dr. Jekyll or something like that. It's, if you look under Frontiers, it literally just completed. But it's super good, and you get just like a ludicrous amount of parts. And the really cool thing is that if you set it up like this, the pieces that need to go between two sections you can still kind of clip those in, right? And it's going to let you be able to make way different wall sections and way different layouts than if you just make like 4 big individual tiles kind of thing. So you're going to be able to make some really crazy layouts this way. In addition to that, I'm not gluing the tops on them. Now, the reason I'm not gluing the tops on them is because it's going to let me swap the tops in and out. Because then I can do all kinds of stuff with them. So this one is now a neat little set of stairs, right? If I had glued the top on this, this would always just be a neat little set of stairs. But if I want to just use it as a wall end, I can just pop the ends on it, and now it's a wall end. So I'm pretty happy with these. I think they're pretty great. It's going to take a while to print them all out. One, because I ran out of PLA that is printing well. I have one spool of clear PLA, but it's not printing at all. It just keeps erroring out. So it's going to take a while to print them all up. And I also want to throw out a warning when you do print them that because, sorry, not PLA. No, PLA is right. No. Poly something electric gas. It's an FDM printer. That's what I'm trying to say. When you do print them out, be careful. The sun is very strong. I left this out in the sun and it's super warped. So I'm legitimately later this afternoon going to have to break out a heat gun, heat up the back of this, and then press it flat so it holds flat. So the sun is no joke. It warped both of these tiles on me. Basically they're unusable until I heat them up and melt them. So just be aware of that. The sun is not a joke. So, all right. Oh, you know, I kind of just want to keep working on the OPR guys. Let's just keep doing that. I'm not super in the mood to do the Vansar guy. Let's just keep working on the OPR guys. All right, what do we got to do next for them? They need a visor color. Let me go grab a visor color. All right, metal's coming back. All right, got some metals. First one I've got, dark gunmetal from Vallejo. The other one is speed metal from Metal and Alchemy. So this is a scale 75 color. We're gonna try it out. I think it'll make really cool visors for these guys. So we'll give that a go. Ooh, such shiny. Yeah, I think this will make really cool visors. But let's see. Ooh, it's kind of a little more silvery than I was expecting, but still not bad. Yeah, that's not bad at all. I think that will definitely need 2 coats though. And then we're going to probably have to have a lot of cleanup around these visors. But it's kind of like a silvery white. That's not bad at all. You know, the Grineer have these like skull adjacent masks. as I showed off earlier when we were looking at the pictures on Google image search. And these guys, I don't really have an equivalent for that, so they're going to get this white instead, and I think it'll accomplish the same thing in the design. Alright, so next, what we're going to do while we let that dry, because it's going to need 2 coats, we're going to touch up the black, I think, next. Now, the black for this is actually Payne's Gray from Proacryl. This is a really nice color. I will say that I wish it was the more blue color that it is when it's wet, because it becomes much darker when it dries, and I actually like the wet color better. You'll see in a second it kind of goes on. Let's see. Actually, we'll do the belts and gunmetal. You can see it goes on with like a little bit of like a blue shine. And unfortunately, you lose that when it dries, which is a real shame because I like that. I like the blue shine a lot on it. So I must have been in a very Payne's Gray mood this week, because this is also the color that I painted the tile floors. Because my necromunda walls are actually done in 2 different colors. They're done in a gray and a beige. And I actually didn't want the floors to actually match them. I wanted the floors to kind of like stand out. And I wanted the floors to be darker because one of the things I noticed when I'm filming is that the lighter color mattes, my camera has trouble with them. So if I were to do them all the tiles in a lighter color, my camera would have trouble seeing it. And because they're tiles, they're not as easy to swap out as, say, a matte is. So, you know, I was trying to be a little conscientious of that. You know what I mean? So, all right. Oh, this guy's got a grenade on his hip. I gotta paint that too. Alright, let's paint that. And while we're doing that, let me give the gun a second coat, because it kind of needs one in some areas. Yeah, there we go. So the modular mech set that I mentioned, that Kickstarter, there's actually 2 versions of it. The first one has a whole bunch of like different pieces, like the legs from Metal Gear Ray and stuff like that, and then there's also like a tank body and all kinds of stuff. Like there's a big like quadruped with tank tread legs and all kinds of stuff. So tons and tons of cool options. However, the bits from that don't immediately go onto the version 2. So if you want to use the bits from version 1 with stuff from version 2, which I mean you probably would, right? Because the fun of it is that it's modular. You can kind of pick and choose what you want. You need the adapter set. Now, that came for me with the Kickstarter just kind of as a thing. I think it was one of the stretch goals. But keep in mind that if you want to combine 1 and 2, you need the adapter set. It's because in 2, they actually made this connector thing that actually kind of makes it like an action figure. It's still super brittle because, I mean, obviously it's resin, but Like you can like snap it together and then kind of like pose it and stuff. It's pretty cool. Like if you used a really ABS like resin, you would legitimately probably be able to pose it a bunch. Which I mean is super, super, super cool. So I'm just going to kind of glue mine together, but the option would be there, which is pretty sweet. All right. Bonk. Let's see, we got this guy here, still to touch up too. But yeah, man, I really need to play a game on the channel. I haven't played a game in so long. Like a tabletop game. Like, I haven't played one-page rules in so long that I would legitimately have to, like, reread the rulebook. Now, it wouldn't take me very long because it's a page. But, you know, I would legitimately have to double-check my rules and stuff again. Whereas, like, I was playing one-page rules enough before that I would not have had to do that previously. So I really need to do that again on the channel. Maybe we'll try to play a game tomorrow. No promises, but maybe we'll do that. Alright, cool. Now let's touch up all their visors with our speed metal. Just because these paints tend to be a little thicker, so they tend to be very susceptible to brush marks and stuff when they're wet. And since I'm just using them straight out of the pot and not thinning them or anything, because they're metallics, I want to make sure that we don't have that crazy brush strokes all over their face masks. There we go. And last but not least, we got Mr. Big Gun, whose weapon looks basically like a rifle version of a revolver, which is pretty darn cool. Alright, now, blue touch-up. And then I think what we'll do after that is we'll do washes after I let them sit for a minute or two. And then I think I'll do the camo. Because I think the camo will look cooler if it's one after the washes, because I think it'll stand out more. So yeah, I'm just going to do some blue touch up here and there to make sure we have nice coverage for the blue everywhere. Make sure I didn't miss any spots. Like on Revolver Guy, I missed a spot, so I'm going to have to fix that for the first time. Stuff like the back of the hands, because that has little bits of armor on it, and stuff like that. So, you know, just kind of normal touch-up stuff. And then we need to go ahead and touch up the visors. And the visors might actually get touch-up after the wash as well, because I think the wash might dye them a little bit. I don't know if I want that, but we won't know until we see. Go. All right. One all touched up. You know what? Well, I was like, I'm going to do at least one of these guys. We're just going to do all three of them. Because I was planning on working on the Van Sar guy, but I'm just not feeling that right now. I'm feeling painting EDF Grineer instead. EDF. There's actually a new EDF game that came out. I've not played that though. I played the last couple. They were great games. I love EDF. For anyone that doesn't know, EDF is Earth Defense Force. It's a game where you play like a little soldier and you fight like giant bugs and stuff. It's really fun. It's a really good like grindy game. So like you'll just kill hundreds and hundreds of bugs to try to get a drop for a weapon. And then you crank the difficulty up and do it again. It's really good. I used to, back when I was in the mainland, I used to play it with my dad. That was pretty awesome. So we played EDF 2 and 3, I think, or EDF 1 and 2 together. I think the new one that came out is 4 or 5. I don't know. One of them was not very good. I think there was EDF 3. So that means that the one that just came out was 5. So I played 4 by myself. But yeah, really good games. Good fun times. You know, you just get weird, wacky weapons, and it's kind of strange that there's like in the first EDF you didn't have like these classes and stuff, and now you do. So like the classes have different weapons, and one of them's like an anime flying girl, one of them's like a big walking tank dude, one of them summons like robots and tanks and stuff, and one of them's just a generic soldier. Like, it's cool that they have the classes, but it is a little harder to keep track of because they all do play different, like considerably different. Alright. Oh, gotta do the gunmetal. Let's do that. And then we'll let those guys sit for a couple minutes and then we'll do their washes. Boop. Alright, so we'll pull up the barrels. Here's the guns. The rifles they chose to give their guys are really neat. They're like vectors, which is like a SMG from like the early 2000s. They've got this like slanted mag thing. Well, obviously you guys have seen them because I've been holding them, but just really cool. Very often all you see when people do like these style like generic soldier guys, lots of times all you see is that people just copy the Imperial Guard. So you have things that just look like a las rifle and that's it. And that's super boring. You know what I mean? That's super duper boring. Variety is the spice of life, so having guys that are clearly like different and have different weapons and stuff, really cool. And I want to point it out that if you're going to print these out, the heads from Anvil Industries are great, absolutely great, and they will probably fit on these with like basically very little resizing. So if you don't like these helmets, though I do really like these helmets, if you don't like them, it'll be very easy to get like a plethora of other helmets. My MCRN troops that I did for Dead Zone, they're all Anvil Industries. And they're just really, really sweet. As a matter of fact, I can grab one of those. Ugh. Clean up my damn craft room. So this is one of the Anvil Industry guys, and this is one of the one-page roll guys. So if you literally just were to use this helmet on this body, it would work fine. So you have a whole plethora of crazy helmets you can use for them if you want from the Anvil Industry guys. I think they even legitimately just sell helmet packs. And you can get stuff like helmets from the most recent Dune movie and my cherry's having some troubles, man. Alright. Well, we'll let them sit for a minute. See, my original plan for these guys was to do them in like Splinter Tarn, like the Nazi camo. But I don't know, I'm just not feeling it. Because I think the problem is that it would be like their whole body, essentially. Because they're in just one big power suit. I like this color here, this Dead Flesh from Vallejo. This is the color I use for my Splinter Tarn base for everything. Because I think it's a very good, like, green, like, ochre color. So, yeah, I don't know. Alright. Strong Tone from Army Painter. I love this stuff. And we're gonna just slather this on fucking everything. Let's see, this guy we did first. So this is a kind of brown wash. It is not as staining as something like the Pro Acro Wash or like Agrax Earthshade. Although, to be honest, I do not like the new Agrax Earthshade. Since they reformatted it, it's just a contrast paint. It's not even a fucking wash anymore. So, yeah. And you're probably not going to be able to see a lot of this on the black parts, but you'll be able to see a lot of it on the armor, and you'll be able to see a lot of it on the gun, especially. Alright, and we're just going to let him sit. We're going to wash all these boys. And then we'll give them a couple minutes to sit, and then what we're going to do is we're going to hit them with the camo pattern. Now, as I was showing off earlier, the grineer, they actually have a variety of different color palettes. So they have like red ones and white ones and tan ones and like different color blue ones. So there's all kinds of different kind of grineer color palettes. This is like the standard Lancer color palette that I'm going to go for. So not anything like any of like the special units or anything, just like the generic guys. That's because I think the blue camo is interesting. Probably not functionally the best, right? Probably not functionally the best, but I think it looks neat, and it is definitely a much more like future trooper kind of color than, you know, doing it in like greens and stuff. Although the grineer do have green camos. They have green camos they use on Earth when you're in like the Earth forests, and then when you're in the Earth plains they have a brown and reddish camo. That, I'm going to be super honest, actually works really well in the game. They're actually genuinely hard to see when you're out on the plains. And part of that is the fact that like camo isn't made for close-up. It's really made for distance. That's why a lot of the patterns are designed to break up your body pattern and not like individually obscure you. Like they're designed to break you up against like the background, so that you kind of blend into it. Sort of like how zebras work. More so than make you disappear when someone's standing right in your face. You know what I mean? That's not what it's for. And the grineer camo is actually a set of lines. It's not actually shapes. So if we go and look at it again, it's actually all just like essentially squiggles. So each one of these guys basically has like squiggles. And there is some rhyme or reason to it, but my idea is that I'm pretty much just going to do squiggles. That's not a grineer. This is some stupid Gary's mod photo, but you can actually see the camo really well. Right? It's kind of just these like stripy patterns. And you can see it really well in the shoulder there. That guy, you can see it super good too. And now you can see that there is some rhyme or reason to it, like it's a main symbol and then lines off of it. But I think I'm just going to do stripy pattern. So yeah, like you can see it on these guys pretty well. This is the guy with the napalm gun. All right. Cool, cool, cool. All right. So we'll just let them sit and dry for a minute. Now, last time I was at the hobby shop, I was just kind of picking colors, and apparently my brain was like, you want to do this project? Because I picked this color, which is like the color I'm using for my base armor color. And then I picked up this, which is the color I'm going to use for my stripes. I did not intend that. Like, I did not buy these colors with this, like, with this project in mind, but it's sort of like what wound up happening, you know? So it kind of seems like a nice little bit of fortune there. All right, let's find a hole in my super old color palette thingy. I need to get a real one of these. I do really like the silicone though, but I need to get like an actual one, not one that like I got from a work goodie bag, you know. All right, and let's get doing. Okay, so now come the lines. All right. Sorry, I'm like legitimately holding my breath. So I really don't need to because this is like a camo. So I've actually ironically already done the hard part of painting all the armor and stuff. So like if I screw up the pattern now, it doesn't make a difference, right? Because it's just camo. But I'm like legitimately sitting here holding my breath. Yeah, some lines are getting bigger than others. That is unfortunate, but I don't know if I have a solution for that, to be honest. Apologies. I'm legitimately just sitting here. I shouldn't be focusing this hard. This is not a hard task. Like if I wanted to be extremely neat with each one of these, this would be a very hard task. But I'm legitimately sitting here holding my goddamn breath. Yeah. Not bad for a first try. Not bad at all. I did do a lot of his lines pretty much perpendicular, so I need to not do that as much on this one. Yeah. It's just like little lines and patterns and stuff. To be honest, what I might do is after I've done painting all this and he's done fully drawing, I might come back and actually clean up some of the blue. Not this light blue, clean up the dark blue. And then I can use that to make the lines a little thinner in some spots. Because some of them I did pretty thick because I wanted them to show up. You know what I mean? But I'm definitely, even if I'm not necessarily happy with my own line work here, I'm definitely happy with the colors. I think the colors are pretty spot on. Yeah, I think the colors are pretty great. And really, that looks pretty darn cool for like a Grineer inspired human trooper. That looks pretty darn cool. Really, I mean, they both do. They both look pretty sweet, to be honest. Yeah, I think if you wanted a little bit more of like the Grineer kind of armor effect, what you should probably do is I'll do a whole bunch of like smaller lines than what I'm doing. I think I'm doing very large lines. I think if you did a whole bunch of small lines, you could actually get it to look a little bit more like the actual armor patterns. But I still think it looks pretty damn cool. I am quite happy with that. And also it's just very much something different, right? Than just doing these in tan and gray. Like it's got a whole different kind of vibe to it. Yeah, I think that's pretty darn cool. I'm not gonna lie. I'm quite happy with that. There we go. Yeah, I could make those lines a little thinner, right? But I feel like it's carrying the idea across pretty darn well. What I might do is the brown wash made the armor a lot kind of darker than I want, so I might actually come back and touch up the dark blue with them. But yeah, I think that's freaking great. 10 out of 10, man. God, these little models are great. The Human Defense Force stuff is amazing. And I've got a bunch more to paint. So I've got these guys, and I've got one of the weapon teams and stuff too. So my plan is to do a whole little like one-page rules force with them. So, but yeah, so it has been an hour, and I've painted 3 little grineer boys. There they are. Looking pretty damn cool. Since I got them all painted up, I'm going to go ahead and call it, because I only intended to get one of those done, and I got all 3 done, which is pretty sweet. But I'm going to go ahead and call it there. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a good one, and as always, keep on keeping on.